have to sort of with the request with all the august speakers, the Gati Shakti speed, can we also elaborate in this particular panel discussion? But just kidding. I think we will have a much more broader discussion in terms of the because nothing happens. Not just in this country, but globally, if you don't get your logistics and supply chain streamlined, one bottleneck and everything stops or goes in disarray, as we had seen in the COVID crisis. So thank you again for all the August speakers to take out their time and join us out here at ETInfra Global Ports and Shipping Summit. So I would first sort of begin with Mr. Jain, at TP World. India is and has been for a while for you a key market. You have been engaged in the ports operations for some time. Now, in terms of the other aspects of the logistics, I think you are moving into much more broader areas in Gujarat. You have some plans in terms of, you have also shown interest in terms of the Gati Shakti cargo terminals, which the DFC is planning. And the reason I sort of brought up on that topic because our last event was at ETInfra Rail Show, and that is when senior stakeholders from DFC has talked about how they will push on in terms of making the Gati Shakti cargo terminals more lucrative. Your take on it? What's the plans that DP World has in its drawing board in terms of the structures or the facilities along the DFC and also including Gati Shakti cargo terminals?
What I would start with is that, when we look at Gati Shakti, basically two prominent words, Gati as in the accelerating the growth, and Shakti is basically the infrastructure part of it. And like what has been put by Dave, I would first start with one of the examples. And I used to be part of a sales team where a lot of times we used to sell the FOB contracts with customers based out of Western economies. And one of the key questions a lot of time used to come out is that a big portion of the cargo which gets generated in the hinterland, customers always used to keep a buffer in their supply chain. When they were procuring from the hinterlands, they used to take 15 days of buffer from the time containers used to get ready or cargo used to get ready and the ships used to be at the port. I think with a lot of investment in the infrastructure, capabilities, technology, and as a country, these have been the things of past. I can proudly tell you that today with the kind of infrastructure we have been able to build as terminals, when we are connecting the inland container terminals with the port, and one of them being also through the Gati Shaktis, we are able to give customers reliable, assured transit time with a competitive cost. And with that, the whole scenario has changed and it has brought the element of reliability into it. Taking example, at DP World, we already operate out of 8 container terminals in India, as in inland container terminals in India, from where we give the EXIM connectivity to the ports on the western and the eastern coast. In addition to that, we also connect about 50 domestic network terminals for domestic container transportation. I was talking about the assurance and the reliability. One of our terminals, Pali, which is close to DFC, we are able to give an assured transit time of 48 hours connecting to the ports of Mundra and Pipavav. And this is something which speaks a lot. It is a double stack terminal which also ensures that capability to move the number of containers is much higher and then connecting it to the port. Other thing which I would add to that is that while we are already operating out of 8, we do have plans to look at more terminals to ensure that as a vision we want to be at a position where we should be able to give access to at least 80% of the EXIM and 60% of the domestic market. In addition to that, I would also like to highlight upon is that while we do these terminals and connect it to the rail, we need to understand that these terminals are the transshipment hubs or the multimodal hubs where the road to rail, rail to road, and multiple of these conversions happens. So we are also investing very heavily into capabilities beyond these terminals to offer customers a single window solution by which we can give them the transportation, warehousing, and all other value added services, so that for customers it can become a single window solution and they can get connected from their warehouse to the final destination, which could be outside India. And giving a final example on that, today proudly we can say that with the kind of infrastructure we have been able to develop and with the overall ecosystem which is available, we can give customers a fixed cutoff time at the ICD, which means if a customer gives a container by a Xerrxes time, then we will give them an assurance that the container can get connected at the port. So for a shipper who is looking at that, he's been able to cut a lot of inventory time, which means a lot of money, which can lead to the logistics efficiencies we talked about. So these are just few examples. There is a lot more, but with the limitation of time, I would say we are moving in the right direction. And as DP World, we are committed to further continue building on our capabilities and ensure that we are able to give our customers single window solution and help cut their logistics cost so that we can become more competitive on the global scale. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I will now would like to come to Mr. Jha. You're representing CONCOR out here, and I cannot think of any other entity which would have benefited from the DFC more than you, because DFC now also brings in the benefit of double stacking. I think many people have welcomed it. For CONCOR, you already have a dominant position in terms of the container transport. Let us know the significance what the DFC brings, and now that only my understanding is a very small chunk that needs to be finally completed on the Western DFC. What does a full operational DFC mean for CONCOR?
So it means a lot for all logistic operators present in the system. So only I think 170 kilometers or so are left in Western DFC for getting connected to the near JNPT from Golwad to JNPT up to Golwad. It has already been commissioned. Our terminal Dadri was connected to DFC in March 2023, and from then onwards, there has been continuous increase in the use of DFC and the reduction in transit times. So prior to that, there was a time of 72, 73 hours between Dadri to Mundra, a train was taking. And after connecting Dadri terminal in March 2023, it dropped down to 35, 36 hours. So there is a reduction of almost 36 hours of transit time. Secondly, the cost, logistic cost, or say logistic cost reduced by running of double stack container trains. So we have run more than 5,000 double stack container trains, double stack trains in the year 23-24, and it is going to increase this year also. And all the benefit of running of double stack container trains, this have been passed to our customer also. So there is a decrease in logistic cost. There is a reduction in logistic costs, and there has been different developments on the line of DFC from CONCOR point of view. That is development of rail transshipment hubs. Rail transshipment hubs. Earlier we were doing at Katwas. Katwas is also right now we are also doing. Then Dadri is a now big transshipment hub, because the containers coming from Muradabad area and Pantnagar area, those containers are transshipped there. They are now loaded in double stacks from there and run on DFC systems. We are targeting to handle more than 1 million TEUs in this year at Dadri itself. So this will be a very big achievement for all of us, and considering the size of the transshipments over there, this will be, and the benefit we are deriving, the customers are deriving from running of the double stack and on DFC. This will be this is going to be a great game changer for when it is commissioned to the JNPA also. It has already been a game changer. From JNPA point of view, till the time JNPA is commissioned, maybe in a year or so, we have developed the terminal near Baroda, that is Varnama. That terminal is already connected to the Indian Railway system, and soon in the month of November, 1.5 months down the line, we will be connecting it to DFC network. So what we will do, we'll run single stack train from JNPA to Varnama, and we'll make double stack over there. From Varnama, it will run double stack as a double stack to NCR regions. So the benefit, partial benefit of up to JNPT will start deriving in a month or two. So it is going to be a great game changer in the for the traffic of NCR region from JNPA. The benefit will be passed to the customers also. Other than that, other than these developments of DFC, we have introduced or we have converted. Earlier there were BLC rakes capable of carrying 20.3 axle load traffics. So sensing the need of the requirement of more and more axle loads, because double stack, when we load double stack containers, it has to carry more tonnage. So we almost converted our fleet of BLC wagons. More than 90% of wagons have been converted to BLCM wagons. That it has already been converted to 22-ton axle loads. Approximately more than 10,000 wagons, we are now having BLCM fleet. Further, as DFC is capable to run 25-ton axle load wagons also. So we have also introduced 25-ton axle load wagons, and right now we are having 49 trains with 25-ton, that is BLCS wagons. 49 trains we are running with having capacity to carry 25-ton axle load. 25-ton axle load means in a wagon there are 4 axles, so altogether 100-ton will be loaded, and reducing the tare weight of the wagon, it will be 40 ton each. So this will be higher, speedier, and faster. Higher, faster, and longer. There is also double stack long haul running. Long haul running will also be there from JNPA itself. So it will be a great game changer when it is fully connected to JNPA. Thank you.
And it's always good to see, because the obviously double stack operations and the visuals that we get, that is already operational. And definitely, like you talked about, and it's good to know that CONCOR will be passing on the benefit to your customers. I think that's also reflects in terms of the market share you already dominate out there. I would like to come to Mr. Master. You represent the interests of multimodal transport operators. To me, I mean, the challenges you probably might face, it would be so many, because being a multimodal operator is not an easy task. Just wanted to know, because just 2-3 years back we had the COVID. There were these lingering issues with containers, they not being available at one point, and the sort of the across the supply chain, the obstructions it created. We are past that issue, which was a global issue. But if you could sort of reflect the the issues that you're still looking for a resolution, or these are the interests that you of your association members that you represent.
Thank you. So I think COVID was a game changer for all of us. It adapted to the situation, according to me, brilliantly, and kept the supply chain running for 1 billion plus people. So I think we should all pat our backs on that with whatever way we could. And it also transformed the industry permanently. I think the biggest fillip or push for digitization came post-COVID. When people realize that it is not it is an inevitable result, and we have to digitize and be as remote as possible. So, I've realized that most of our offices, the old style offices, for example, had DO counters. Today, the DO counters are absent completely post-COVID. Everyone has just removed them. Of course, as multimodal transport operators, we are facing challenges. A lot has been done by the government, but a lot needs to be done as well. So I think first of all, the biggest impediment is our poor infrastructure. No matter what we are saying, what we are doing, we are building the largest road network in the world. We are doing the per kilometer construction per day, I believe, is the highest in the world as well. I don't have the facts and figures by heart, but the reality is stark and glaring. You take the Gujarat, Bombay, Ahmedabad highway, it is a nightmare. I mean, I used to travel by that road for my personal work so many times. I haven't gone for the last 3 years. It takes hours. I mean, the time has tripled. And that is the main arterial route to the north for the transport of goods. Different states, I have traveled internally quite a bit, and I have seen that different states have completely different set of roads. In the sense, one state will be quite brilliant, and the other state, as soon as you enter, there's a stark contrast. So uniformity in infrastructure is one of the biggest impediments. Still, 80% of our goods move by road, which should not be the case because it's the cheapest option. Coastal has not taken off as you would have liked it to take off. Give SOPs, give tax benefits to the players, encourage them to go coastal, go green, it's a better option. Also, please encourage the development of the inland waterways. We even have some of the largest inland tributaries in the world. They have not been tapped even 10%. Automatically your road dependency goes down, congestion goes down, and hold the people who are making our roads accountable. Have stiff penalties, because this is not the way developing the largest economy in the world, one of the third or the fourth largest economy in the world is supposed to function. Another impediment which I feel is, and my colleague Dushyant will probably smile at what I'm saying, but customs needs to streamline their processes, bring in a single window clearance, make it friendly. Don't be a watchdog, be a facilitator. And that's one of the things which we really need to do. We really need to have, I mean, there should be the faceless concept has just come in of examination. We should have everything online. We should have everything done speedily. The laws should be simplified. Today, most of the laws are so convoluted, you can twist them to the way you want it. So that's one of these are some of the challenges that we are facing there. Another aspect is development of the hub and spoke model of having multimodal logistic parks and then distributing it. I love how Europe has done it, and so beautifully. And that is why they are one of the best supply chain models in the world. I don't think anyone's been able to even replicate it closely. So, and as just one of our senior colleagues, Mr. Shantanu Bhatkamkar, likes to bring this example, that when you, as a passenger, come down, land in Amsterdam airport, a single document, a single pass can make you use the air, the internal air, the road, the rail. That is another thing, that's simplification of documentation. One document should be allowed to facilitate your, what you call movement of goods throughout the states easily, seamlessly, and then connect to the ports and carry on. So simplification is the key. Another aspect which needs to be looked into is a friendlier tax regime. GST yes, GST is there, it has to be there, the government needs the money, but bring it about in a simplified manner. Today, many of our industry people are facing challenges, getting notices. Half our time is going in solving out our GST issues and to concentrate on the business. And why should that be? Tax regimes have to be friendly, have to be promoting the business, and not serving as a watchdog or as a extortionist model, as we call it. Also, we need to facilitate the concept of sustainable logistics now. Encourage people to use electric vehicles or hybrid vehicles, the truck operators. Encourage the coastal operators to use hydrogen and whatever other alternate fuels you have, give them SOPs, give them government subsidies. Today, we are talking for them to do it. We are telling them to do it, but the cost is so high, it's prohibitive. It's a prohibitive business model. So these are the challenges which we are facing, including, I mean, I can go on and on, but the challenges are humongous. And we have to tackle them. There has to also be a logistics ministry or some body whom we can take our grievance to. Today we are as AMTOI searching for who is our boss in the government. Special Secretary says no, it's DPIIT. DPIIT says no, it's the other way around. We are going around in circles. Where do we go? Where do we sit and accordingly meet people? And we also, just one more thing I'll say, also the part that, so that's, have a clarity. Make it user-friendly. Call us, talk to the real stakeholders. Ask us what is required to bring your logistics costs down. And last, have a port community, robust port community system. We have 3 or 4 modules right now going on simultaneously. No one knows what is going on. Which model is ultimately going to turn out? Some model is taken halfway there and then it's stopped and another concept comes into play. Have one proper port community system like how the port of Antwerp, my colleague has, port of Hamburg has. Make it one platform, unified, and then accordingly take it. Have all the stakeholders on just one platform, and then you will see the change. So these are the challenges we are facing. I know time constraints, I've overshot my time, I apologize for that.
Please. I think this is the last panel, we can take advantage. But wanted to know, I'm addressing this to you also. When the Gati Shakti sort of was initiated, and Gati Shakti is nothing but a lot of this geolocation data from all the, this 12, 13 ministries. That data is still now within the government. When we were engaging with senior officials at DPIIT, there were talks that this entire set of data would be sort of made public to the private sector as well, provided they sort of securitize it. Would that sort of information that this 12 and 13 ministries related to the infrastructure and logistics they have, if they were to open all this data?
I think they already have. We get a monthly NLDS now data. We get a whole booklet.
Right.
It's very useful to us. I mean, for the entire industry. I think that part is taken care of. They have moved in the right direction.
And any take you would have on the ULIP platform that was launched under the...
Well, that's one of the 4 or 5 things going on. I mean, it goes on, then it stops, then it becomes small, And the funny part is that the stakeholders' views are not taken. It is taken by bureaucrats and other people who think they know the subject matter. We know the subject matter. We are doing this day in and day out. Take our opinion and we will tell you how to facilitate that. Trust us. That's what we are trying to say.
Right. Thank you so much. I would now come to Mr. Mulani. For freight forwarders, the streamlining of the exam processes is the criteria. Now that we are much more, our trade engagements globally have increased near about to the Middle East. Then we have ambitions for our connectivity to Central Asia. That's an important market. From your point of view and the stakeholders that you represent, the freight forwarders, in terms of the exim processes, where are we? I mean, yes, much like I said, those reforms are being taken, but where we actually are on the ground.
Yeah, thank you. First and foremost, this is a wonderful platform that Economic Times has built, and thank you for this opportunity to all of us here. I would really suggest that you should make a detailed paper on what is being discussed and suggested and present it to various ministries through Niti Aayog, and that will surely give valuable feedback to the government for next phase of execution of reforms. Reforms are must. When all of us are discussing 2030, I think $7 trillion or whatever figure is being discussed today. Important aspect is to create mindset of growth. The mindset of growth, and it requires across government, industry, everywhere, each and every stakeholder needs to create that mindset of growth. As what my colleague Mr. Xerrxes conveyed, it's very important that where is the execution? We are coming out with plans, we are coming out with various policies, but is it actually resulting in tangible benefit to the industry players, trade? Is it giving actual sense of ease of doing business while carrying out, say, export and import transactions? Answer is that there is a big gap. We have to, be very specific, bring in a transparency and predictability factor in whatever process we are doing. These are the basic tenets of trade facilitation agreement signed by our country in Bali. Unless we processes are transparent, we will not go anywhere. Second, unless we set timelines, as what my colleague Mr. Jain conveyed about timelines, that earlier it was 15 days planning was required. We need to set timeline that if an exporter from an industrial cluster wants to export his goods to wherever, what are the timelines that each one of us has to observe, whether be it customs, whether be it ports, terminals, shipping lines, custom broker, forwarder, everybody. If these timelines are not being adhered to by any stakeholder, suppose if custom has raised an objection, whether it's valid or not valid, what is the escalation mechanism? That's what Xerrxes also came up on. What are the points of right now? Escalation points are there needs to be a comprehensive escalation mechanism for an importer or an exporter. If his goods are stuck somewhere in ports, air cargo terminals or ICDs or CFS, he should be able to convey that this is the difficulty I am facing. And under the dashboard of PM Gati Shakti, whether it's Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Commerce, Ports, Civil Aviation, road transport, highways or railways, there should be some redressal available. And we have presented this paper to the ministry. The national time release study carried out by CBIC conveys that there should be a clearance time of 48 hours for ocean and 24 hours for air clearances. That is still nowhere near mark. Where are we on that? The faceless, which is brought in, faceless assessment process needs lot of changes. In fact, our study is underway with IIM and we are very shortly presenting a detailed paper to government, Ministry of Finance, to revamp faceless. Because timelines, accountability, the query percentages needs to be set in, and with proper comprehensive escalation mechanism. Trade is suffering. We are escalating, our transaction costs have got escalated right now, and we need to all work for that. And similarly for exports, we need that. And last, trust-based working environment needs to be instilled, because today, last 4 years, we find that our major industry players who are helping India to earn valuable foreign exchange or carry out major infra work or manufacturing are facing huge backlash at grassroots level. Controlling the grassroots level in customs is the key, that create trust-based working environment, facilitate facilitation instead of enforcement. That is the message. Thank you.
One follow-up question to you as well. Okay, so who takes care of your redressal? Is it DPIT Logistics? Is it the Ministry of Roads? Is it the Ports Ministry? Whom do you go to? Because logistics is divided among so many players.
Point number one, custom processes, it's CBIC, Central Board of Indirect Taxation and Customs, Ministry of Finance. Number two, DGFT for export related under Ministry of Commerce, and DPIT for any logistic related issues, because we found that a lot of this privatization also which has happened across the country last 2 decades, but because of no performance monitoring on these private players, whether be it any custodians or carriers or anything, logistic costs and delays have costed industry huge billions of dollars in that. And lastly, civil aviation ministry for air cargo and ministry of shipping for shipping related issues.
Right. And in that segment, the transshipment, where the security comes in, and BCAS stringent regulations is where one of the issues are also
yes.
is.
So Delhi is facing the major heat in
True,
that.
true.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So I would like to come to Mr. Bhonsale. If you could, you are in the business of ensuring that ports are efficient. If you could elaborate over the years, obviously now we are talking about digitization. Now PPP model has also come into ports operations, like as Mr. Wag said in the morning, 25 years of good experience. How do we go out and make our ports more efficient? As your fellow panel members already said, that in terms of the EXIM front or the freight forwarding front, there are issues. But then at the end of the day, the port is, at the end of the day, is India's major gateway to the rest of the world.
Thanks, ETInfra. I think you had quite a few questions. I'll go to the first one. The first question you asked was, is it audible, first of all? The first question was has the efficiency increased, or is there been a development in the efficiency? I think, the answer, the short answer and sweet answer is yes. But I would like to see the efficiency from two perspectives. One is the operational efficiency, and the other one is the commercial efficiency. So operational efficiency and the ports is the starting point or the ending point for the exports or import cycle. The operational efficiency has improved, and I think there are various statistics in terms of berth productivity, crane productivity, throughput. We are handling something like, I think, probably 20 million TEUs per annum. I'm talking mainly of the containers. So that has certainly, that is a growth of almost 7-8%, which is a very healthy growth. So operational efficiency has improved. I think when it comes to commercial efficiencies, and when we deal with the ports, our company has done more than some 160 implementations across 60 countries, and we also talk to various port experts. So I think as I said, our operational efficiency, I think the mindset, the kind of people we have is excellent. But when it comes to commercial efficiency, I think we need to be, there's still something to be done. As Mr. Master also said, the state of roads, the traffic, traffic taking time, and then Mr. Mulani also mentioned about the problems in getting the redressals done. So when I see it from a customer perspective, finally the customer is the shipper or the consignee who is shipping through the ports. He needs a lower cost. But then to get a lower cost, there needs to be a lot more transparency in the market. So when it comes from a commercial efficiency, you can see that it's like the ports and the liner companies are the ones mainly coordinating on that aspect. So that is, and then there is a pre-shipment or a post-shipment, which is the CHAs, the freight forwarders, the hauliers, the rails, the ICDs, the CFSs. I think they're also part of it. So that's where the commercial inefficiencies come in. And the result of the commercial inefficiency is also, of course, the cost is increasing. Cost is increasing for the customer, and that's why we keep on hearing the first mile and the last mile is very expensive as compared to the ocean freight. So what I see is there is a need for a platform, a platform where the information can be easily available, and to get that kind of information, you need to have certain standards, some data standards, some I mean, we already have some standards like the EDFAX, the UNEDFAX, or the ICE gates and all. But there need to be more more open standards. It could be the platform needs to be technology agnostic. It needs to be independent of the vendor, so that almost like an open source where people can collaborate, and this information is available across the ecosystem, where people the people from the ecosystem can choose and reduce the wasted trips, for example, through triangulation. A wasted trip is an empty container being whenever an empty container is moved from one place to another place, it's that positioning is a wasted cost. Or a truck coming back without any cargo, that's a wasted trip. Same thing for a ship. So this, if we have a platform where this information can be exchanged, people can actually bid for the lowest service. This will improve the cost, and thus it will also improve the operational efficiency.
So if you could, elaborate. The other day I was having a talk with Mr. Joglekar, CTO at Mumbai Port Authority. He talked upon the potential of blockchain, particularly, which will help streamline all the processes, whether it's the container shipping coming in and then all the sort of all the back end information. Your take on will blockchain? How much of a potential would that sort of a technology have in port operations?
Well, to be honest, I think blockchain, we haven't really worked much on it, but then I think the AI, and I think Mr. Joglekar also mentioned, AI is something where it can be used for from the IT security perspective. But I think the bigger play the AI can have is right now, a lot of this data used by the shipping lines or other ecosystem members. This is churned by some BPOs and this thing, and when it is done, it is they don't see the trends. So the AI can see the trends. It can pick up the trends, when are the peak times, when are the lean times, and things the feeding sequence to the ship, the feeding sequence to the train, all those things by using AI that can be minimized. We can minimize those things. So I see a lot of things on the AI. Of course, there are also small things, and that is the easiest way to do is to connect to an API of already some AI engine or AI tool, and to optimize the output that you want. For example, the feeding plan. The other things is finding these trends and bringing the cost down is something that can be done.
Thank you so much. My next question is sort of addressed to all, Mr. Master, Mr. Jain, and Mr. Mulani. Our logistics will now extend, or our logistics interest now extends beyond our borders. We have interest in Chabahar. We have interest in the North-South transport corridor. We are talking about Chennai-Vladivostok corridor, and plus the very ambitious, the IMEC corridor. Obviously, the conflict in Middle East, if we just keep it aside. How do we sort of go about it? Because we are part of the TIR convention that probably will facilitate our movement in the north-south transport corridor. But now that you will be going through different countries, are our exempt processes aligned with them? Because customs new will have to be streamlined. IMEC will hugely depend on that. So all three of you, if you can give your point, because for DP World, the much more better connectivity with the Middle East, between India and Middle East also plays a very important factor. If all three of you can give your views.
I can quickly touch upon for example, specifically on the Middle East part. So, if we go back a few years back, there was a comprehensive economic partnership agreement which has been signed between UAE and India, which aims to have a target of about $100 billion in trade other than non-oil. Now, all of these things to happen, it would need a lot of things around the logistics. And here we are not only limiting ourselves to be a logistics partner, but a trade enabler. And how do we really make it happen? Some of the initiatives I can share with you all is, we have recently started with a new initiative, which is the Bharat Mart. Now, this is a transformative physical trading hub which gives the Indian retailers and wholesalers a place, a marketplace with which they can trade and have their goods with access to not only trade with Middle East, but this gives them a space in Javja in Dubai, which helps them to partner and work with, countries not limited only to UAE, but Africa, Central Asia, and Europe. Similarly, with free trade warehousing zones in India, we have been, we have started with 3 free trade warehousing zones in India at Mumbai, Cochin, and Chennai. And idea behind these is that how do we really make the policies simple for the trade to really work down and cut down on their working capital costs, and then enable trade with multiple countries. So there are a lot of those initiatives which have been taken, and then to ensure that how do we really simplify the trade and make things simple for the companies out here in India.
Yeah. So, Mr. Dev, now regarding trade corridors, how they would be helping us and integrating the custom processes, is that right? What you exactly?
Like how do we ensure that our freight sort of moves seamlessly across corridors, whether we are bringing all the way from there or we're exporting it from here?
Now, INSTC project which is there, FFFAI has been part of it since inception. We've taken the dry runs, we've taken few of the commercial shipments also there. In fact, our team, our past chairman has traveled twice with the containers actually to the Chabar, Azerbaijan, right up to St. Petersburg, Moscow, everywhere. Point is, there is lot of divergent processes which are still there. Need of R is the common documentation. Particularly in INSTC, India and Russia are working on cutting down those processes. With Chabar port coming up, yes, Iran has come on board to bring those processes in place. There is immediate need to bring banking process also in place, because unless banking comes on board along with custom, nothing can help to send and receive the remittances. So there are a lot of gaps, yes, lot needs to be done, but there needs to be a focus given by the ministry. And one of the major role, I think Ministry of External Affairs needs to play in this. Discussions are underway.
I think she's already given a signal that it's supposed. I'll make it very quick. So yeah, I think Dushyant has more or less cleared it up. First of all, we need to upgrade our ports to world-class standards. It's easy to say that 1 or 2 ports are, but our main ports which are creating bulk of the cargo like Kandla, etc., need to really be spruced up and brought to that kind of level. Secondly, roads infrastructure, again, to have a seamless movement of goods, simplification of custom processes with world customs, making it like a single document should be allowed to move the cargoes right up to the end. Destination, we need, again, this is a concept. All these corridors are still concepts, far from being fructified or becoming to reality. So we need to also invest more in Chabahar. I think India needs to talk to Iran, allow Indians to set up offices in Chabahar. It's all on paper. It's not being felicitated. As Dushyant says, the Ministry of External Affairs has to play a major role in that. And digitization. Everything should be, all our port community system should be integrated with APIs, making it a seamless that all stakeholders from different parts of the supply chain in different parts of the countries which are being operated are all online. So as to track the goods and make sure that there's a seamless movement. And above all, a friendlier geopolitical situation. Very important. We need to be friends with our neighbors as well. Yeah.
Okay. Now, my last question for the day to Mr. Jha. Not very long ago, just 2-3 years or 3.5 years ago, a lot of focus was on domestic manufacturing of containers. CONCOR literally drives the container demand in the country. CONCOR had given development orders to Braithwaite and other companies for containers. If you could give a sort of an update, where are we? Because the whole process of building a sort of a domestic container manufacturing ecosystem has sort of, fizzled out or dried out, at least what we see from here.
Before giving a container manufacturing update, I would like just to, 3 points came up brought out by fellow panelists because of use of artificial intelligence. So I will give quick update on that. We have implemented artificial intelligence at our Tugalkabat cluster, Tugalkabat terminal. And by doing so, in the month of April only, and by doing so, earlier the trucks arriving at the gate were taking 15 to 20 minutes time for all sorts of documentations over there. And if you see 15 to 20 minutes time in isolation, it's not so big, but when there is a queue formation, so 10th, 15th or 20th truck down the line was detaining for hours together. So after we introduced artificial intelligence over there, the 2 minutes, it's 1.5 to 2 minutes, a truck is taking at the gate to enter into the terminal. And prior to that, a lot of complaints were there for congestion at the road. And after implementation of AI, all the complaints have gone up. Second thing, for green initiatives, he has spoken about, CONCOR has introduced 100 LNG trucks over there, over our terminals to connect FMLM services to the customers. And 200 more LNG trucks we are inducting into our system. And for that also, we are not having sufficient LNG pump stations. So we have entered into the agreement with the IGL for installation of LNG pump at our terminals only. And within 2 months, LNG pumps will be there at Katwas and at Dadri. Second thing, third thing, he spoken about the sharing of data. So to reduce the logistic cost, we launched FMLM app. So what does, suppose a customer is there and they are willing to get their container at factory premises. Sitting at the home, just we have launched an app in which vendors are registered and customers are registered. So customer give the requirement and vendors will quote the price. Just like we are booking cab like Ola, Uber. And then customer in the real time will select, obviously, the lowest one. So it is sharing of information for all the sharing of data, sharing of the vendor's quote to the customer, to the end user. Their logistic cost has gone down. And now coming back to container manufacturing scenario, till 31st March 2024, we have ordered almost around 16,600 containers, domestic containers. And till now we have received more than 13,000 containers. So when you see the fleet of our containers, our own containers on 31st March 2023, it was almost 37,000, approximately 37,000 containers we were owning. Right now, we are approaching 50,000 containers. So in the month of October, we will cross a landmark holding of 50,000 domestic containers.
Thank you.
Maybe I will
Sure.
just add on to that, because this is something which is very close to Atmanirbhar Bharat, right? So as DP World as well, we have very focused efforts to grow our presence in the domestic market. And over last few years, we have taken very conscious focus on that, specifically in the rail domestic. Over last 1.5 years, I would say, we have increased our presence, and with that we have added to our fleet about 14,000 domestic containers, and I'm very happy to share that majority of that is made in India, and we are very focused and conscious about it, that even if it takes time, we would continue build upon that capability so that over a period of time we are able to scale it up and take this agenda forward.
All right. Thank you. That's a very positive note that we're ending. So really appreciate, to all the stakeholders. And again, thanks for, joining us out here at ETInfra Global Port and Shipping Summit. Thank you.